Alrighty, yeah, are you there? We're there. Glory unto the uploads. Yeah, so this is the the shambles that I am today. Getting ready for the ensuing week. Now, because the midst of our week is likely so Tuesday night, I can almost guarantee there's going to be something that gets in the way of me doing what I need to do. I should be back hopefully by Wednesday night. Thursday night, definitely. So there might be a day or two in the middle where things get a little thin. But we are looking at a week of recapping the game adventures that I had this year. So both tabletop games and video games will be covered. And I feel like, as I was thinking about it, like the tabletop games, the video games, and if I'm going to be doing audio stuff, potentially audio games, and maybe products made for gaming. I don't know. Like, I feel like this is potentially the direction my channel's headed in if I'm not super careful. Not that I need to be super careful. It's like, if that's what I end up doing a lot of, then that's what I end up doing a lot of. I'm fine with that. I'm good. If it works, it works. But at any rate, the things that I want to cover this week, because we're doubling up one from video and one from tabletop each day, roughly for the whole week. We're going to be covering a lot because I did my board game designs. I have mostly individual games. The first one I made was Access Granted. The second round of game design I came up with was Rita Raygun and the Raygun Rocketeers. And so that was 2 in 1 month. And then we had my superhero dice game, a game that was modular that I kind of dropped in the midst of doing a few of the other game design elements I think we ended up actually thinking more about audio games again. And then what I was going to finish off the year with, I believe, was a game I called Elements, which is actually inspired by one of the reviews I did. I want to say it was back in September. And so I have 6 there that I could do, as counting as what I worked on this year. But really, the Raygun Rocketeers, that one, there are a lot of finicky rules that I kept changing and adjusting because it's a much more complicated game. So more anything else, I'm going to have Access Granted, Rita Raygun, Super Dice Game, the Elements, and probably the modular game board. That's for the tabletop games. For the video games that I worked on this year, I seem to have done a fair amount of stacking things. So I did more than one thing at a given time. The very first game we did was, excuse me. The very first game we did was Zombie Apocalypse, from the point of view of the zombie. And at one point we were doing Captain... Oh, no. I think at one point we also talked about the possibility of a game that I had been playing around with called Presence, and one called Slime Boy. And those were both sort of like prefabbed ideas that I had in the back of my mind that I expanded on further. I may revisit those again, but I think Zombie was the one we landed on. And then I think the very next one we did was Was it Captain Mr. Space Ninja? I have to go back and look. I feel like I'm forgetting something in the middle there. We also had Cuddle Pop, the puzzle game that came to me around the same time, and Liquid Metal Rage, Captain Mr. Space Ninja, Zombie, Apocalypse, Presence, Slime Boy, Captain Cosmos, the interactive YouTube game, and some trivia games that I could do interactively on YouTube. And then the possibility of 1 to 3 others that I did that I'm not remembering right now. So I have to go back and look. So there's very likely possibly upwards of 12 games that I could be, putting the finishing touches on if I work on my design aspects for some of those. I feel like Zombie was meant to be done in BuildBox. Captain Space Ninja, I think, was also meant to be done as a side scroller. Cuddle Pop is a BuildBox puzzle game, can't be done in BuildBox. Liquid Metal Rage might be able to be done in BuildBox. I feel like one of the things we looked at one point was building a game design using RPG Maker. I think Presence was one of the ones that you could do in RPG Maker. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at some of that again. But overall, the game designs I have for video games to work on still, like I can take a look at some of the very basic concept art that I built for things like Cuddle Pop and Captain Mr. Space Ninja. And Captain Mr. Space Ninja is completely scripted, not computer scripted, but written out as a script, as a series of events of what you do for each segment of the game. That's got a script. Honestly, that and its sequels have scripts. There are at least 3 sequels to that. And then Zombie is mainly laid out already. And puzzle game wasn't that really required a script. It was just now Liquid Metal Rage was one of those. It's a rage game. It's meant to tick you off. Captain Cosmos is scripted, and the trivia, I'm building a formula for that one so that I can apply it to many different topics. So a lot of that's scripted. I feel like, again, somewhere in the background of what happened this year, I think it was, what was it I was looking at earlier that I totally forgot? Oh yeah, I forgot that was something we were doing this year. That one slipped past me. Oh, it was the artwork. When we were looking at the artwork, I have pixel art and paintings, and totally spaced on the fact that somewhere in that process, I had done the stain shading and the dot art and something else. And so my brain just totally farted on the fact that was something I actually did. And so I'm feeling like there's something for just like that in the video games that I'm forgetting I was doing. But any way you cut it, I have at least 5 games that are board games that are finally mostly finished. And I have the bulk of the work done in creating the video games, and we have 3, 6, 9 at least, somewhere between 9 and 12. We have somewhere between 9 and 12 video games planned out. And so that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. So I'm going to try to cover some of that this week as we go through this. Tomorrow night, I believe I'm back late enough that I'll probably be on here at 11 rather than 10:30, but sort of like tonight, I guess. So I think the first one that I was working on was the zombie game. I might see if we discussed and planned and thought about at least 9 video games this year. So there's going to be a lot of, I got 5 days to do this. I think I should probably plan for a 10-day, maybe 2 different video games per day. And I think I'm just going to do 1 board game per day to discuss, or tabletop game to discuss per day, because I don't think the Raygun Rocketeers board game is ready enough. Like, I still have rules I haven't figured out, but the rest of them, the Captain Rita Raygun's thrilling interplanetary adventures story game, that one's ready. Access granted, that one's ready. Hero Dice, pretty much mostly ready. So like the modular playing board, that one has less structured rules to it. So I mean, I guess it's ready, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to keep opening up my notebook because we did so much in this category this year. So Access granted, Rita Raygun's thrilling interplanetary adventures, superhero dice, modular game, and elemental game. We've got 5 right there that are in some form or another playable. I think the one that I'm least likely to say for certain I'm done with is Elemental. And then definitely not ready for Raygun Rocketeers. But the Elementals, there are some things I keep thinking I might change about it. But 5 of them, 1 per day for this 5-day event of recapping these. It's the video games, I think, that are going to trip us up. Because, like I said, we've got 9 to 12 of them in here. And like that's just the ones I wrote down. There's some I'm sure I'm forgetting. So say bare minimum we had 9. There are 2 games per day at least, except for 1 day with 1. And if that's the case, then I should do 2 a day. Or would we rather do them at a pace of 1 per day? Would we rather do them in the way that I came up with them? So like the zombie game, just do that for 1 day. Then I feel like the one we did next was the one I'm not remembering. Because I feel like zombie game was, so January, February was video game month, and we did the zombie apocalypse game. Then we had March off, And then April and May we had a game design idea. Was that when we did Captain Mr. Space Ninja? No. I think that's when we came up with Cuddle Pop, Puzzle Game, and Liquid Metal Rage, right? And then, no, that had to be August. I'm going to have to go back and look. Because we had Cuddle Pop, Puzzle Game, and Liquid Metal Rage all at the same time. So 3 on that month. Captain Mr. Space Ninja was trying to use up, I feel like that was July. Trying to get ready for the oncoming of the expiration of my build box. But then when was Presents and Slime Boy? That may have been something I was planning to do here towards December. Captain Cosmos and the trivia game, I feel like, was in the midst of summer. Or at the end of summer. I don't know what sequence that came in. I'm going to have to go back and look. That kind of surprises me. And I feel like we're missing something. Because I know I didn't go straight from zombies to... Maybe I did Slime Boy and Presents. It doesn't feel right, though. I don't remember what came after the zombie apocalypse. I don't know what month we did Cuddle Pop, Puzzle, and Liquid Metal Rage. I feel like that was July or August. But I also feel like Captain Mr. Space Ninja may have been shortly after that. Or around that same time. But Captain Cosmos and the trivia game was around the time we had the discussion about audio games. Oh, I'm so very confused right now. I didn't write them down in the sequence that I did them. And that's part of what's messing me up. Anyway, so yeah, I have a lot of those video games to rehash and rework. I think back in September, my Build Box subscription auto-renewed, which is an expensive auto-renew to get hit with. So if we're still doing this in a year, remind me not to let it auto-renew. So I've got access to it till September. And so I do want to dabble with maybe making some finished versions of some of these games. Now, what I can do with the Build Box games, game system that they have out there, I think is probably Zombie Apocalypse, maybe Captain Mr. Space Ninja. I might be able to do Liquid Metal Rage. Maybe Slime Boy. But I think I'm going to need RPG Maker to do Presents. And I don't know what I'm going to need to be able to do the puzzle game that I was working on. I'm going to have to figure out if I may have to do that wholesale from scratch using Python. Because I don't think there's a build system structured to make that easier to do. So Cuddle Pop, Captain Mr. Space Ninja, Zombie Apocalypse, maybe Slime Boy, could all potentially be Build Box games. Puzzle, don't know yet. Liquid Metal Rage, maybe Build Box. Presence has to be RPG Maker, I think. And maybe Slime Boy being RPG Maker too. Although that one's a little bit more of a platformer game. Captain Cosmos is something. It's basically a choose your own adventure role playing game that we can do on YouTube. That one doesn't require a secondary system, and so the trivia game is also a YouTube structured device. So those are relatively easier to do. I think the big ones is going to be the puzzle game, Liquid Metal Rage, and Slime Boy. Maybe the three that are least compatible with a currently functioning system to play games on or build games on. Once you've made them, they should be playable on any device or platform. That's the goal anyway. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Like there were 1 to 3 games that I made during one of the months of the year that I'm just not remembering. Like I know the audio game for this Space Cadet game could technically count, but I don't think that was one of them. I think that was still firmly classified as audio. Maybe as a product category. It just feels like there's something I'm forgetting. To be fair, I mean, I know, what was it? I think March was when I went to Oahu, right? So I wasn't really able to, that was the month I was taking off and not creating anything anyway. And I kind of had to do the same thing for July. Then we did something for August and September, right? So we had January, February, April, May, June, July, August, September, and we were going to do October, November. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I'm not forgetting something. Maybe it was Captain Cosmos and the trivia game that I came up with, that I was playing with in July, because I know that was the month where some things fell through that I didn't have the time to upload videos or work on some of those projects, and so I just kind of scrambled to pull it all together by the end of the month. So I tried to make my workload lighter by doing simpler games. And then I think I was revisiting the Slime Boy and Presence game for October, November. But I just didn't get the chance to upload videos then. It's a little confused as to which ones went where, so I'll have to go back and watch my videos and figure that out. But that's, at any rate, that's what we'll be doing this week. Like I said, tomorrow, double shift at work. So I'll be late to get started. Tuesday, I will be at Families for the day. So that might be a hard time to do any videos from there, but maybe. And then Wednesday night, I should be back here in time to be able to do a follow-up. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think I've got the right timing to make videos happen neatly on those days. So and Saturday, sort of like this past week, I may end up using my Tuesday night as a night off and using Saturday as the last of the 5 days. And then next week we move into discussing health and well-being and the writing projects that I worked on this year. And that's going to be essentially 2 or 3 per day because it's a short week. We're going to be hitting New Year's real soon here. I am not ready. I am not ready to be done with this year yet. But at any rate, that's where we are. That's what we're working towards. I went to bed last night, so I think I have 2 Metal Hurlants to do tonight. And because tomorrow's going to be late, I'm going to potentially have to do that again tomorrow after I get back from work and after I'm done this video for tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do for Tuesday night. Maybe I'll be able to do that Tuesday night. So much left to do. So much left to do. I'm starting to feel like it's potentially a possibility that New Year's Eve is going to be like the whole day of New Year's Eve is just going to be like the ideas inspired by Black Mirror and Metal Hurlant. It's going to be finishing up discussion of the projects that we worked on this year. It's going to be trying new foods, setting up the plan for what's going to come in the following days. New Year's Eve is probably going to be like a solid day of videos from me. It's at least going to be at least 6 hours of videos from me, bare minimum. So that's going to be interesting. All right, I need to head to go get some dinner. And then I think I'm watching 2 videos, maybe 3 tonight for Metal Hurlant to get up to speed. And maybe 1 or 2 tomorrow. What day is tomorrow? Is that Monday or Tuesday? It's Monday. So I might be able to squeeze in a video or 2 tomorrow night. Yeah. Off to the adventures. Thanks for joining me tonight. We're coming up on a half hour anyway, and I will catch you later tomorrow for more in-depth games we created. So take care and have a good night. A lot going on. I don't know if I should hope for a new year to settle down a little bit or just get into it and just keep going. When the new year hits, just keep pedaling. All right. See you later.